What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today is going to be part 4 of our Predator build series. We're going to be slapping on the Mikuni carburetor. It's a slide style. Got it from Go Power Sports. The adapter for the carburetor, the new air filter. It's got new bolts. We're going to be throwing the trumpet style straight pipe back on it for now until I can get the little dirt bike style muffler that I had on it before welded back up. This shouldn't be as long of a video as the other ones, so hopefully we can get this one knocked out really quick, which means we can get it thrown back on the go-kart. I'll probably end up putting the torque converter back on it, the drive for that, and try to get this thing fired up. If y'all haven't seen part 1, 2, or 3, I'll leave a link in the description. So other than that, let's get started. Okay, let's get some things knocked out of the way real quick. So the last video we left off, we hadn't plugged these in, so let's go ahead and plug these in so we don't forget. What I'm gonna end up doing is I'll run a wire to this up to the front of the cart, so if anything happens, like one day Caden was ripping it around and I had a spring brake and it left the go-kart in wide open throttle. He's been on things since, you know, he was 4. He's been on a dirt bike, so he knows what he's doing when it comes to a lot of riding and stuff. I'm sure it scared him a little bit, but he slammed on the brakes, got it stopped, smoked my belt a little bit, which I'm okay with because at the end of the day, he walked away. He did good. He didn't run into anything. He did a great job. So we've got that hooked back up, so we'll scoochie this out of the way. We're gonna take this fuel line off, see if it's gonna leak any. It might leak a little bit. This tank is pretty full. Ooh. We're gonna take the fuel line that came with the carb, slide it over that. That's locked in there pretty good. So we're probably take and kink this over. Vice grips on it. Let's do it closer to the end. That should keep that from leaking out if the tank moves over. Old carb. We don't need that anymore. We'll hold on to it because it has the stage 1 jet in it, so I'm gonna put it in my little container down here, and we'll be using that when we move to do Caden's go-kart build. So that is going to be your intake side. We've got the carb, the gasket, and the bolt set that it came with. So we'll take the gasket. It's got a flat side on it. Set that whichever way it goes, like so. Small bolts on it. And if you look on here, flat side. These are Allen heads, so I'm gonna have to go grab my Allens in just a second. These, it's got a rounded head on it, so it makes it a lot easier. Got that tight. Now there's not going to be a gasket on this side because the Mikuni has an O-ring. careful when you're taking that off because it's got the spring in it. Set that aside. Slide out. Now with the light, you should be able to look down in there because this will move. It can go all the way down. We're gonna try to get it as centered as possible. You don't want anything, any of the air as it goes going in, hitting a wall and causing some kind of turbulence. So right there, look. Sucker's on there. Now we are gonna put the tank back on. Just line it up. So with how the fuel line is right now, when it goes down, it hits and it's gonna end up kinking it off. It's supposed to run through here, I believe. So I'm gonna try to pull this off. Oh, making a mess. It's one of the downfalls of not draining your tank. Quick, go fast. All right, be good. Spilled a little bit of fuel, but kind of part of it. Unless you drain your tank. I didn't. No. All around, everything's just going goo-goo. All right. Popped off for a second. Put this cap back on it. Put our nuts under here. Snug that one, and then we will slide the front one in. Don't want to tighten the nut and then not be able to get this front one in. So we'll put the front one in. It's an 8. That one's actually the bolt. Tank's done. Flip it back around. Hopefully don't make too big of a mess again. So now we are going to take the fuel line we ran through here. Disconnect our vice grips. Run it over. For right now, I am not going to trim it. So it has fuel going to it. Go Power Sports little kit. I opted for red instead of blue. Looks pretty cool. Now what we need to do is put our new throttle linkage on there. The one that's on the go-kart no longer will work because Mikuni is specific. From what I was told. And this will mount up to the pedal. This goes through the slide and stuff for the carburetor. And then down here, you'll have some adjustment as well to dial in your throttle. So you put the cap on. Take your spring. Now what you do is you'll take the ball part of this, slide it over the side, slide it down in there. If you look in here, there's a screw that goes in right here that will have to clear. That's how you set your idle on this one. And on this, the choke and fuel line side, there's gonna be a little, it's a piece that they put in the casting when they make it that the slide has to slide through. Just kind of twist, slide it in. Hang on just a second, Jax. Got my niece here. So if you listen, you can hear, maybe, we've got a throttle. So now we are going to take this. Okay, we got the cable wrapped around, engines flipped around. We're gonna take our exhaust studs, dip them just enough in some oil, just enough to wet the threads. We're gonna screw these back in. So we have our studs on there. Here's the pipe. The reason I ran, oh, you can see it, it's over there. I made a pipe already that's got a muffler on it because this thing is stupid loud. I'm not even exaggerating. It is ridiculous. But we're gonna put our gasket over the studs, maybe. Pipe on. Put our lock washer and our nut. What I'll end up doing is I have an idea of how the pipe's supposed to be ran. So what I'll do is I'm gonna take it to a muffler shop, I think, and have them make the pipe like I want it with the smaller actual exhaust pipe, because what I used was not exhaust pipe. Might be able to fix it myself, but depends how I'm feeling that day. Exhaust pipe's on. So now what we're gonna do is fill it up with oil. If you have a little tiny funnel, it'll make your life a lot easier. I don't. Everything I have is ginormous. So we'll just lean it back and do it this way. She's full. I don't see any oil leak. Got our fuel line hooked up. It's got fuel going to it. Spark plugs in. Coil should be set. It's on off. I'm gonna pull it a few times just to get the oil moving around in there. All right, well, moment of truth. Flip the choke up. Let's find out if it's gonna run. a few minutes, and then I'll check the oil, shut it off, kind of do a once over, and then I'll start it back up. Probably do a couple RPM pulls on it and see how it sounds. Y'all vibrated all over the place. What was that, 2 pulls? First one, it almost popped off. Hit it the second time, the sucker fired right up. I couldn't be happier right now. Didn't hear any funny noises, no valve chatter, no nothing. This thing fired up and ran actually really, really well. I'm real happy about that. So, real quick, I think what I'm gonna do is I bought something off Amazon. I think I'm gonna install it and see how accurate it is. Check the oil and then fire it back up and see if we can do some RPM pulls on it. Just give it some fuel and get it into a higher RPM range, see what it sounds like, make sure it isn't gonna let go. So, had this for probably a month and a half or 2 months. Got it right before I started this whole thing. It's a Tach. Got it just because I was really curious on RPMs. It did come with a battery. That was going to be a total letdown if I just typed y'all up and then. Okay, so this is just, I don't even know. I think it was about 15 bucks. It wasn't expensive. It's a self-powered digital Tach maintenance and hour meter, so it'll help me keep up with hours. It'll help me know about how many RPMs I'm doing, stuff like that. So it says wrap this around spark plug wire tightly. Five to 6 times. This is actually a huge pain in the butt. Hey girls, this is about to be loud. Y'all might want to go back outside like I was telling y'all earlier. No. Alright, I warned y'all. Okay, let's do a couple RPM pulls and see if this even reads right. It's only a few bucks, so not super hopeful. I should probably tighten that. Said it hit 8,500 RPMs, and that was probably extremely distorted for y'all, so sorry. But that sucker is loud and it gets to RPMs fast. I was not expecting that. I can't wait to get this thing on the go-kart and go rip it, because wow, that was, compared to before, this thing hits RPMs fast. There is no delay. You hit it, it gone. So I'm gonna get this all picked up and try to straighten everything back up, because y'all vibrated everywhere. Everything's just vibrating everywhere. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned back up. We're gonna throw the torque converter back on it. Might even get it on the go-kart and do a rip today. We'll see. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okie dokie. So I've got the engine up on a block of wood because the torque converter hangs down. It's a pain if you don't. So I left the bolts where they were, so that's where we're gonna put it back to. 13. So I have a few different spacers here, because when I put drive on there, originally it doesn't line up perfect with the back one, so I'm going to try to get it spaced properly. We'll see if we can get that. It's real close. I'm going to take the washer off. Let's see what it looks like without the washer. Perfect. On the belt, I didn't turn my light on. This probably help y'all. On the belt, there's a side that tapers in, and then the flat side. The flat side goes this way, and the tapered part goes towards the inside of these. If you look at the torque converter, the inside closest to the engine, the inside of the drives are going to be flat, and then the tapered side is going to be towards the outside of them. And it's on both of them like that. But that's back on, and this lines up a lot better. All right, well, we have the torque converter is back on, and I think the engine is pretty much done. So I might throw it on the go-kart, take it for a little bit of a rip, see how it does. All right, first step, we are gonna get the engine off the bench, set it on here, try to get the bolts in it. We're gonna run the throttle cable up to the front, get that mounted up so we have our throttle, get the chain wrapped around, and get it tight. We should be ready to take a rip. So let's go. Well, that is a problem. So on the tabs, they have a little notch cut out in them. So I'm not even gonna mess with cutting that one off, because it'll just be messed up anyway. I won't be able to use it. So real quick, I'm gonna very carefully try to drill this out. here. I'm adding a spring because the spring in the carb is just not, I mean, it would work, but it's not a lot of tension. So I want there to be a decent amount of tension so it doesn't break, hopefully. I did fray the cable a little bit when I was drilling it and it got a little crazy. Got the new tab welded in though, added a little return spring, everything on there. It's good to go. So now we are going to shut the welder off, turn the gas off, and I'm gonna move this back over there, and then we'll try to get the back done so we can rip it. Motor's on, working on getting the chain in. All right, I think it is time to take it on its first rip. I'm gonna go get a different GoPro mount to put on this because this one is dying. So I'm gonna go get a mount, get it all mounted up, and we'll go. All right, this is it. I am gonna start it up, take it on a rip, got the GoPro mounted, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, that is it. The motor's back together and holy crap, that thing is fast. I was not expecting for it to go from what it was to the extreme it is now. It's wild. I'm completely mind blown. But that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching guys and following along on the Predator build. So yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe because there's gonna be more videos coming. There'll be more go-kart stuff. We're gonna be building KK soon. If you have any questions about anything that I've done, you can comment in any of them. I'll get back with you I usually get back with everybody as of right now. Don't have any problem talking to people, giving them some help. But other than that, we're gonna end it off here. So thanks for watching, and remember guys, love each other.